Welcome to the enchanting world of the Never Cross a Witch Bitch podcast. Prepare to be captivated as we embark on a thrilling journey into the realm of spirituality with our remarkable team of a distinctive energy mixture. Leading the way is Mitch Garlington, a gifted gay male witch, touring stage medium, and psychic tarot card reader. With a background in the competitive corporate world and experience as a Cher impersonator, Mitch brings a fresh and unique perspective to our discussions. Next, we have Lucy Locke, a former fundamentalist Christian missionary turned sex shop manager turned professional dog groomer turned psychic medium, trance channeler, and tarot card reader. Her incredible transformation into the spiritual world is truly inspiring. And last, but certainly not least, we have Carly Batten, a second-generation practicing pagan, intuitive oracle card reader, and spiritual mother to many. Carly brings a grounded approach and simple understanding to the complexities of spiritual living. Together, we form an unstoppable podcast as we delve into all things spiritual and the journey of life. Our mission is crystal clear: to spread the message that spirit embraces all and that each of us is on a spiritual path, whether we realize it or not. So buckle up and get ready for an exhilarating adventure with the Never Cross a Witch Bitch podcast. Please note that all ideas discussed and presented in this podcast are the personal opinions of the individual podcasters and do not necessarily reflect the views of each other or the viewers.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to our 24th. Is it 24th or 23rd?
Yeah.
24.
24th episode of Never Cross a Witch Bitch podcast. We tried to record this the other day and I got sick.
You had the shits.
I did. Not
I love how she
almost
just
on
threw it
camera.
straight under the
Almost on
bus.
camera. I could make it into a clip. Almost on camera. I was sitting there sweating while Carly's talking away, and then I had to interrupt and slam my headphones down and run for the hills.
Can I pause?
And yeah, by the second time, I knew we weren't going to get anywhere because I felt really weak, and the cramp. My rusty sheriff's badge was puckering away. That it wasn't feeling very
Rusty
good. So.
sheriff's badge.
Oh, dear.
My puckered star. All right.
Seriously?
So
I think first and foremost, I think we should apologise in advance because we are recording this later in the day, and we all tend to have a bit of a tendency when we get later in the day to get silly, more silly than we normally are.
Yeah.
So apologies in advance for silliness.
Yeah, because normally we record it not early in the morning, but morning, and I'm usually like that, and even though it's 12 noon.
Yeah, we're normally quite good, aren't we? But
Mitch has
yeah.
done like 4
Tonight.
reads. Carly's been up since 4 o'clock doing her ponies and cleaning the vicar.
Clean as a vicar. I just have visions of like her hosing him down with like
You
a
see,
power
now
wand.
I've got a Peter Kay song in my head now. What was it? Let me
song
staple the vicar.
Yeah, staple the vicar. That's
Staple
it.
the vicar.
I just literally have visions of you with this power hose, like turn around, vicar. Oh dear.
Take the payback. Now you know what it's like to be dunked.
Oh dear. Sorry,
there's some
guys. It's gonna be one of those
tensions
nights.
Yeah. We're talking about friendships and friends and spiritual friends. We're going to go, I think, a little bit into circles. What is a circle? Spiritual circles. What the pros of them? What can be some of the cons of them? How does that sound, you guys? I kind of made that up on the fly, so I apologize now.
Oh, that was good. Grin it and wing it. We like that.
Yeah, I did not think that's what we were doing, but that's fine.
Mitch was like, I don't want to do this subject.
Yeah, no, you wait. I got
Well,
your friends.
I don't really like people that much, so like I like people in small doses, but yeah, friends. I mean, these guys are okay, but like some friends. Just,
Okay. Thanks. I'm so glad to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you two are fine. You two are fine. But just some people are a bit, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We were talking about that. That's what we were talking about before I literally diarrheaed
yourself.
myself in front of, yeah. We were talking about like the forced feeling sometimes that people, and that's what you were talking about, Mitch, quite a bit. That
Yeah, I just feel like some people come with this expectation of like that they almost like have in their mind, I want to be this person's best friend. And it's like, and they almost, I don't know, it's like they try to almost impose themselves on you. And it's a little bit like an energetic type of rape almost, isn't it? Sort of thing. And
yeah,
I've had
definitely a
that.
vampire. Yeah, I would put, yeah,
Yeah, I've had that so much where people are like they're on a mission for to be my friend, and it's like I don't want you as a friend. Move back into your box, sort of thing. But I love the organic friendships that just naturally happen out of the blue. Like I know we've
Mm,
spoken in the past about me and Lucy's connection, and then that was completely professional, and then we just had a click. And like with me and Carly, you know, when you did my event, and we just vibed, and it just felt like revisiting people, like the energies felt familiar. So even though we hadn't physically known each other, it felt like almost we were finding old friendships that we've already known of, and that's nice when it happens like that. I just hate it when you get somebody be like, oh, I want this person as my gay best friend, and it's like, no, I'm not looking for friends, fuck
mm.
off, sort of thing. And I get it a lot, and it's just like, oh, go away.
It puts you in a really awkward position too,
Mm,
where it's not growing naturally, and then it kind of puts you in this position where you feel like, oh, I kind of got to just ignore them after a
yeah.
while, and I know I don't like doing that, but I also don't like my energy to be expended out of me without my say, I guess, in that.
Yeah.
um where it's just a mutual, like, I learned something. I think I talked about, well, anyway, I'm talking to you guys because we talked a little bit about this the other day, but these guys that are listening haven't heard it. But one thing about friends is I used to be quite open and just accepted everyone, like, around me. If they wanted to be my friend, I was like kind of there for them, especially when I was younger. And ended up getting just bashed around. Like, people come with a lot of garbage, and some people just don't know how to be friends, I guess the
Mm,
word is.
yeah.
And what I've learned scientifically and spiritually, the two go hand in hand, as I always say, is that when someone is to be a friend or to be trustworthy, because that's part of being a friend, is your nervous system calms when you're around them. So it means that you're like feel calm inside. You don't have any kind of like, does that make sense? Like, everyone has a little bit of garbage. There has to be a little bit of like, no one's like gonna perfectly, does that make sense,
Yeah,
match
everyone's
as
got a bit of an
friends?
ink, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's everyone as a friendship, like, you go, oh, but then you get used to it, or you realize it's no harm. It's just part of who they are, and you just like get on. It just becomes something you accept about the friend or whatever. Um, and but your nervous system calms around them, where you feel like you're accepted. Does that make sense? That even in your grossness and your ugliness, you will be accepted. They may not like it, but they won't dump you. They're not going to leave you. They're not going to leave you hanging and dry. And did you know that it takes 5 years to truly get to know someone?
Oh,
Of
really? That's
regular
interesting.
contact, to get to know someone, all they're in, like, to get to really know them.
Well, that's really interesting.
Doesn't mean
Also,
we're hiding stuff, but it puts
Miss
us in different
Lucy, we're still getting to
circumstances.
know each other. Then
Yeah,
there's still some
yeah, like,
uncovering to do.
sorry, yeah, exactly. There you go, bunny.
Nude Fest, it's
There
coming
you
up.
go.
Like,
Yeah. Look at these. No, sorry, I don't know. But sorry, Mitch. Sorry, everyone. But like, you get into different circumstances. Like, I'm sure if me and Mitch got deserted on a desert island together, and we didn't know, you know, if we're gonna have any kind of contact with people for a long time, like, there's going to be different sides we're going to see of each other. Does that make sense? And so, like, us
yeah, I
building a
think it'd be
raft or
fucking
something
hilarious
together.
if we
Sorry?
I think it would be fucking hilarious if we were on an island together. Uh, to begin with, until we started getting hungry, then we want to eat
Yeah,
each other.
exactly. And
So,
one of us has to do the killing, like the food hunting and all that, and building a raft, and like, starting a fire from nothing, all that kind of stuff. All I
oh
would do is hold my
gosh.
skin out there. But, but yeah. you know, it's through circumstance. It doesn't mean people are withholding or anything like that. Even us, I could be put in a circumstance where I don't even know myself and how I would react in that circumstance. So, you know,
I think personally, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes I was thinking about, you were talking about obviously friends that you had when you were younger, Lucy, about, you know, you like seem to like have everybody. You want to be friends with everybody.
I was not popular,
and
but I wasn't picky about my friends.
Yeah, you sort of wanted, I think that probably might have caused you to try and be more friends, if you know what I mean, because you wanted people, excuse me, sorry, you wanted people to like you. But I also think, you know, but we were talking about this last time, we were saying about, as you know, as you get older, um, I think you learn to, there's a lot of things you learn to like self-protect yourself, realize you don't want to deal with the drama, and you know, you get fuck it days quite a lot. You know, I don't give a, you know, I don't give a hoot who I'm actually truly friends with. You know, you don't want to uphold a facade, if you know what I mean. So as you get older, you get more comfortable in yourself, which means you're more comfortable with the people you've had as friends. You know, you don't have friends. I'm not saying I had friends when I was younger to sort of keep a trend or look trendy or be in with the gang, but I think that becomes more and more not as important as you get older. So you then tend to start finding your tribe and find who you truly sit with, which is, I think, is why we get older, we have more spiritual friends. I mean, everyone knows I talk about a hell of a lot. I'm sure there's probably times when she could garrot me, and I know there's times probably when I could garrot her, but we wouldn't, you know, we'd just like laugh it off and take the mick out of each other. But we were actually friends before we were spiritual friends. So we got to know each other out of that context, and it's then we then discovered, without, we were talking about, you know, I think I used to go around to Ems for a cup of tea on a Friday night or a cup of coffee on a Friday night, and I think I was sat in a living room and saw like a golden orb flip across the living room, and without thinking I just went, oh look, there's a Quidditch ball, and she went, oh yeah, and that was it. We just like started talking, you know, spirit, you know, reading, stood still, blah 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 blah, and she's on the same page as me. And that's just escalated. And obviously now we've dragged poor Charlene in for the ride as well. So I think when you get friendships like that, and it's funny because, like, you know, you say like us three, you know, we sort of feel like there's definitely a familiarities. It's like we were talking about. I think I see a lot of bits of Lucy in me, or me and Lucy, you know what I mean? And the same with you, Mitch. There's little bits like your earth connections and your witches and how you work and taking a step back. I see a lot of me, and I think sometimes that's the familiarity and that recognition that you see. But me and Em's connection, and now Charlene's come in, there's something else there. I'd love to do past life with the three of us. I think that at some point me and Em have been connected. It's like when we drive home to Glastonbury, we both feel like we're going home, and we've both been there before. Because did I tell you about the Abbey experience between?
Yeah.
I don't know if I told the listeners, but you know, me and Em had a. I did I? That's good. Thank you.
It's like, you did.
Thanks for that. Oh, you did. You did. Don't go to it again. You did.
No, but you did.
Yeah, you did. Shut up. So, you know, there's no way, I think, mine and Em's connection, I don't think there's any way that you could have that experience with someone and not have had a past life with them. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
so it's yeah. So it's really nice. I'm quite lucky with the Bardware stool. I don't think I've ever felt any falsities, if you know what I mean, when people have come along and want to follow or want to be your friend. I don't think I've had any of that. Oh my God, it's Bardware and let's be your friend. I've never felt like it's been like that on a spiritual side of things. I've been really lucky.
You have been very lucky, because I have a barrage of fuck turds that basically I'm just going to put it out there, but that so many people have wanted. I think the thing is, they have felt by spending time with me, my giftings are going to rub off on them. That's what it is. And it doesn't work like that because spirit
No.
is a personal connection. You know, it's a personal, beautiful experience that you have with spirit direct. And I think that's the problem. A lot of people have come into my life thinking that, oh, if I spend time with Mitch, I'm going to sort of perfect my own mediumship or my own witchcraft, and then it doesn't happen, and then they turn nasty. And I've had so many people get nasty. This is why when friendships forge, I'm very, very, very wary, and that's why I have like Paul, because he's a great little sort of
He's a
kind of
radar, isn't
detector.
he?
He's
Yeah.
like a radar, yeah, like a little detector, and he knows who to watch out for. And you know, being empathic, you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So your higher self knows this person's not good. Be careful, be careful. But the human side's like, no, this person's fine. I know their backstory. I know why they are like they are. And then you get burnt every time. And Paul's like, yeah, I told you so. He's vetted you two, and you two are fine. You've come up
I
okay
was
on
gonna
the
just say,
so
what did Paul say about me?
no,
I went
both of
off
you
on.
two.
I was like, I didn't shut up the whole time we met it. The first time, I think
No,
he was a
both
bit
of you
like,
two. You two are cool. He likes both of you two, which is really good because if he said like, "Oh, watch one of them," I would have to listen to that, you know. But
yeah.
he loves you both very dearly in his own little way. So that's good. That's good. But yeah, but it's just I think it becomes tiring as well. So for me, when I hear friends, I think, oh, straight away I'm feeling like, what am I going to have to sacrifice by having this connection? Which is
I struggle
quite
with that
sad.
too. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree with that. Where I feel like when it comes to friends, I must say I sometimes feel like I'm not a good friend.
Okay.
Um, like not that I would do anything awful to people. That's not what it's about. It's like the giving and receiving. Does that make
Mm,
sense? It doesn't always come quite naturally to me. It used to, but I think maybe it's more I struggle making friends.
yeah.
Like I think about me and you, Mitch. I go, how the hell did we even become friends? Because I suck at making friends. Like I don't like to force the issue too much, so I don't like to be too much. But I know even with Mitch, I was like, am I being too much? Am I being too little? Tell me. Like I was almost like gauge me
I
on
think it was
like
our warped sense of humor that kind
yeah.
of.
And that's usually what gets me as
Common
friends with
ground.
people. Does that make sense? That
Yeah.
usually if they can laugh, they get me. You know how you just feel that you get me. So like in this
Yeah.
small village that I live in a very tiny village, right? I was walking the dog and I ran into a lady and she's new to our village. And Colin said, that's the vicar's wife. And normally I would clam right up. Does that make sense? Like I would just be like, oh, it's very good. But I don't, she turned and looked at me and I just started razzing out the sense of humor. Do you know what I'm saying? And saying just whatever. And she was like holding her crotch that she was laughing so hard on with the shovel that she was holding. And then we did a couple of things together. And then I did something and she wrote to me about her religion maybe getting in the way of not being able to participate. And I was a little bit, oh, this isn't going to work, is it? And then that went on for about 2 or 3 weeks where we didn't really talk to each other. And then she invited me out and she wanted to have coffee. And I thought, let's not do it at my house because my house is decorated the way I like it. Does that make sense?
It's
But
witchy. Yeah. Yeah.
it's witchy. But she came in. Oh, so we said we would go into a restaurant, but I said you could come. We'll drive because we live in the same village. Let's just drive in one vehicle. So I said I'll drive to the restaurant. She came in and I didn't show her upstairs here with the alien, my
The
The
child
alien,
broomstick.
the
being
broomstick.
No,
sacrificed on
this is
the
my
wall.
little sacred venue. This is my little coven, little hole here in the house. But I have Buddhas, I have witchy stuff in my house. So she saw it and she didn't even blink an eye. Anyway, we went out. So we went out at 1:30 in the afternoon and we didn't get home till 6:30 that night. And
That's nice.
it was never a lull in the conversation. There was plenty of laughing. There was actually quite a few tears and we just shared our lives together. Two people from very separate spiritual, but we were on the same wavelength spiritually, but just
Mm.
coming from two different angles. Does that make sense of it
Yeah.
all? And I felt like I had a kindred, like I'd known her. Does that make sense? There was like this feeling like just that absolute comfort there where my nervous system relaxed with her, and I was like, she's all right. She's all right. Are we going to be best friends? I don't know. We haven't, but.
Hey, I'm your bestie. Just remember that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Mitch is my bestie. And that was even awkward when I was like, wrote to him something about bestie or whatever, friends. And yeah. But yeah, Mitch has just been, I take a long time to trust people. Do you know what I'm saying? And Mitch has just proven over and over. We had one fallout, didn't we, Mitch? Carly was there with the fallout. And I was just like, but both of us, I think, realized what we were going to lose. Does that make sense? That, I almost want to cry thinking about it. What we were going to lose from each other. That was like, no, this is not even one tiny bit worth even going. Does that make sense?
It was over now. It was something crap.
Oh, it was over a comment on Facebook and yeah. But it wasn't. It's just that thing of.
We just saw it from different angles, I think.
And we both might have been in bad spots. I can't even remember. Does that make sense? We don't, like we're just in a lower thing. But also it needed to happen I think, for us to realize how, and us three as a group, because Carly was there going, whoa, 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 like.
Yeah, you were like spirit mom.
I was being my pagan mother to many. Spiritual mum. Now then, you two. I shall bang your heads together. Do it. I've got my nanny.
Because it also shows that we're human, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it showed me how precious my friendship is. Does that make sense? That I was like, no, I was devastated. I was like, I don't want to lose Mitch. And I've often, Mitch says to me lots, I think I'm just going to quit and work at McDonald's or Tesco's. And honestly, I know beyond a shadow of doubt, I would be his friend if he worked at Tesco's and McDonald's. It's nothing to do with his mediumship.
No.
Exactly.
It's nothing to do with the tarot. It's nothing. If I met Mitch in a totally different place than where we met, we would have clicked right away anyway. So,
but I think that shows how strong a friendship is when you can have a difference of opinion. And okay, I come in as a third party and said, come on, you two, nanny og, behave yourselves. But you could see past that.
Yeah.
You could see there was, but then also that's maturity. But slowing down and thinking about it and seeing past, yes, you had a difference of opinion and you had a different thought pattern, but you know what came before that. And you know what's going to come after that.
Yeah.
And it's just that moment in time. It's just that moment of a difference of opinions. It's like you saying, Lucy, I like a red jumper, and Mitch going, well, I like a pink jumper. And you go, well, no, red jumpers are better. And him going, well, pink jumpers are better. And then you go, well, actually,
win, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
But you know what I mean? And it was just, you could see past the fact that you might have that slight difference of opinion, but you knew afterwards your friendship is so strong, and it's not fickle. It's not a fickle friendship. It's not a fickle relationship.
It's made us stronger, hasn't it, really?
I think so. 100%.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I mean, even friendships in partnerships, we're all friends with our partners and our husbands and what have you. I mean, everybody knows, you guys know, I don't know if Mitch will probably go, yes, you spoke about it.
Well, we're talking about the true surgeon now, are we?
Yeah. He's like,
my glasses are suddenly frosting up.
I get really distracted because he's currently clearing out the shed and keeps walking past the window. So I keep going, oh, hello. Oh, hello. But we had, beginning of the year, we had a bit of a rough ride, but we spoke about it for the first time. Probably we actually spoke about it, worked through it, and came out the other end better for that conversation, and knowing that what was being said was because it was done in love and good intentions, and it wasn't done for anything else, and you're going to come out the other end. Sometimes it is growing and trusting, but I know, that comes with age, that comes with maturity, and that also comes with respect for yourself and the person you're talking to, doesn't it, as well? And that's the key
And also,
to it,
it's
isn't
like
it?
saying that is loving that person enough to saying, I'm being vulnerable with you in this moment because I need to let you know how your behavior or my behavior is making me or us feel, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, if you've got that in a friendship capacity, it's learning to accept. I mean, we're humans, as human beings, we struggle to accept criticism.
Mm.
Rather than from criticism from everybody. With our parents, if our parents criticize us, we just think we're being told off. But we take it. Yeah, okay, we take it on the chin, but we don't like it. It hurts. But we don't like criticism when we don't like being told we're doing something wrong. So to be able to be open enough in a relationship and a friendship enough to say, and mature enough to go, okay, you've given me that information because you want me to better myself and we'll work through it together. That takes a lot from the person receiving the criticism to acknowledge. And you can go through a huge amalgamation. Like you say, you sit there and cry, a huge amount of feelings, emotions, and it can be really inspiring, it can be really finding yourself. And like you say, brings that emotion better, it brings that relationship closer together because you've opened another doorway.
I think what I like with our sort of three-way of energy is we generally want people or each of us to win in our own setups in our own capacity. I mean, it's like Lucy's currently doing some really cool courses and things, and she's going to be launching a tarot workshop. And it's like, we were talking about when should she launch it, because I'm doing my one and everything else. And I was like, don't worry about my one, just get yours out there, girl, sort of thing. And the thing is,
then I felt like I did feel like
competition,
Yeah, but then I felt for respect of Mitch, let him do his, and then I'll advertise mine. Yeah, because it just felt right in my spirit. Does that make sense to go?
Yeah, and again, that's respecting each other, isn't it? The fact of like, we're not phased if you launch something, and if you want to wait, that's cool. And those that are meant to be on both of ours will be on both of ours, won't they? Sort of thing. Space is still available for both, just saying. But, but I think no. But it's no. Sorry, I don't know what's in this drink today. But but on a serious
I can smell
note,
it from here, Mitch. I can smell that drink from here. No.
But I just feel on a serious note, we generally want each of us to win. Or when we're all working like an event or like a fair and we're all there and we're all doing our thing, we're rooting for each other. We're doing our individual work, but you can just feel that collective energy. So we're all on the same page, aren't we, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with everybody as a tribe. When you go to like Mitch's events or self-plug mine events, everybody in that room is rooting for everybody. So that's 30 stalls in what was the Bowood one? It was like 30 stalls.
That was like 50, wasn't it? It was 20. A lot of people.
I don't know. It was. I've slept and ate pizza since then. It was about 25, 30 people. But it's you think everybody on that stall, everybody, readers and healers, all are voting, getting each other's backs and want everybody to do well, which is why you're all in the tribe.
Powerful vibration, isn't it? When you walk into that vibration that's already been set.
It is, but
all
it's
I remember
nice.
of that day is the breakfast, but
It was your birthday, wasn't it?
It was your birthday.
It's worth it if I'm going to get a breakfast, I'll tell you.
I was granddad of Bardware.
What do you guys think? Because what I find with the spiritual sort of scene is you get like a tale of two halves. You get those people that are very comfortable in being quite solitary and not needing friendships. And then you've got the needy side of the spirituality where everybody wants to be involved in every little bit. Do you find that, or is it just my own experience of what I've seen?
I personally think it's how far they are down their path. So I like their own personal path. So I tend to find the ones that are a little bit more settled, that are happy to go off and work on their own, are comfortable where they are. They're the ones that have either been working solitary and a bit further down their path. and are quite happy doing that. And then I find the ones that want everything are the ones that are just starting out and have got the Pac-Man effect. I mean, I could be completely wrong, so tell me if I am, but I tend to find it's those ones that are keen, really want to learn, really want to absorb all the information and meet everybody they possibly can. So they go into this nom 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 what I call Pac-Man effect, or Pac-Man syndrome, which is great. But I think you have to go through that process for then you to be able to find yourself to then slow down.
Do you feel like they're actually learning, or are they just grabbing at everything, wanting to just be?
I think they just want to find a baseline. As we all know, when you first start spiritually, that reawakening or those light bulb moments of, hang on a minute, what's going on here then? I think you do feel a little bit untethered. You're not humans when when you're in the normal muggle world, humans love labels, they love pigeonholes, they love to fill in a section, they like to be in their boxes or their kits and boxes. And I think when you start out, as you guys know, you feel really untethered, don't you? You're like, well, what's going on? What am I? Who am I? What am I doing? Am I this? Am I that? Am I an angel worker? Am I a light worker? Am I a kitchen witch? Am I a jump on the bus witch, a pick your nose witch, a sit on the bog witch? You know what I mean? You're trying to find, and I think that grabbing comes when you're trying to tether yourself. It's like grappling at the sides when you're drowning, isn't it? You're trying to hold on to something to keep yourself afloat because you want to learn, but you've also got all this information that's suddenly popping up, and you're like, I got to do that, or I've got to chase that, and I think they're trying to find something sturdy to get hold of. But that comes with, as we all know, that comes with finding yourself, learning where it is within yourself before you then slow down and go, well, it's not going anywhere. I'll just get it when it comes up. And it takes a good, 2 years, 3 years for you to start actually going, well, actually, I don't have to have a tag. I don't have to have a name plate. I don't have to be tethered to something. I can do my own thing. That's how I see it. Could be, how do you see it, Luce?
Yeah, I would agree, because when I first came into the spiritual community and stuff, especially like when I met you guys and stuff, because I'd done circle before and been involved with 2 different circles before I met you, and then I met Deb's Tie Duck through Mitch, and joined her circle and was in that for about a year and a half, and I've pulled away not because of her circle, just focusing on other things in life at the moment and trying to get back into work and stuff like that. But then I did trance, and I've tried mediumship. I've tried different psychic abilities to see where my gifts. So it is kind of a Pac-Man thing to see where my gifts lie. Does that make sense? See what they are, and but then there are people that just do define themselves quite strongly of what they are. But I think for me, it's just I'm getting more comfortable with it is what it is. Like I said was it yesterday? I was with a client and I said, "Oh, I'm not much of a mediumship." And then I said, "Oh, I don't do a lot of mediumship." And then boom, her mom was there. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't even I had to say what the mom wanted to say, and she was all, really teary-eyed and stuff. But just before that, I was totally no, it's not my gifting. And then it's it was physically I felt her presence just in my going, no, you're going to say what you need to say to her,
But that's lovely, because that's like spirit seeing you and not watering down your ability, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was, then it reminded me, okay, you can do mediumship. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not definitely not like Mitch, where it's boom, boom, one after another or anything. But I've never tried that way, so I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe I am. I don't know. I've never tried to receive one spirit after another for different people. Does that make sense? And put it through. So, but yeah, it's the definitions, but then to market yourself, you have to have a definition. Right. So
it's
that, like,
interesting,
if you're
isn't
going to
it?
work in the professional, a lot of the people that we meet in the spiritual community that we become friends within the spiritual community are professional at something within the
Yeah.
spiritual community. Right. So when we meet each other at these fairs and stuff, we're all professionals doing stuff. So we do have to market ourselves. So we do have to grab onto a definition of, yeah, I'm a tarot card reader,
At some
psychic
point,
tarot
once
card.
you feel comfortable with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know you can do it, when I don't put in front of my mediumship tarot card reader because it's as and when for me. I'm not there yet where I can go, yeah, I can definitely every time a client sits in front of me get something from spirit, but I've not tried it either. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, if you're working in a professional capacity, I would say, yeah, have a definition of it. But day-to-day life, just be you.
Mm.
What works for one person, like me and Bitch is friends. Okay, let's go to friends again. Um, we he'll say, "Oh, I've done a spell or whatever," and like honestly, like so I look at the guy and I know he must have done a spell in the last couple of weeks for his ticket sales because he was saying how, and I was seeing that it was slow and it was like
Are
things
you
weren't
telling
moving.
my secrets here? Like,
I don't know. I've never. Why did you say to Carly that
no,
you
I
did
have. I
a
did. Yeah,
spell?
I did a little abundance spell. Yeah, to get it
Because
moving.
yeah, and I knew that. I knew that because I'm like the guy. You have manifestation skills that are amazing, Because all of a sudden it was like 10 tickets left and this and that, and I was like, "Fucking hell, the guy," And then there's me like carving in my candles, like what I want to see happen and burning them.
Oh, I've
But
got
I
some
don't ask
candles.
Mitch.
Do
We
you
don't.
want
Yeah,
some?
yeah, exactly. She's got
Mhm.
5,000 fucking candles, you guys. They're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
around
yeah.
her. All of a sudden, if a fire happened in your house, that's not a good thing. But like, we don't talk about what spells you've done. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I don't
yeah.
go. I don't try to mooch off you. I
Exactly,
want to
exactly.
sometimes, like I like because I'm wanting my business to grow. So I'm like, how the fuck does he do this? Like,
But it is like any spell work, as I've said many times before, it's permission to receive, isn't it? Sort of thing. You have
yeah.
to really, and I just feel Spirit have like, I mean, we were talking earlier about venues, and I can sometimes message 15 to 20 venues in a week and not hear back from any of them. And it can be very soul destroying. So I feel the ones I have managed to get in, I want to try and keep a good connection with them. I want the nights to be successful for them as well as me. So then they'll be like, yeah, let's rebook you for next year or whatever. So we have that flow. And I just feel in the times we're in, little intimate, performance theatres and spaces, they're really needed. And there's that risk and that danger of like, if they're not supported, those places will close down. And it'll be such a shame
Mm,
because they are needed. So yeah, if I can do a little spell to sort of speed some tickets up and to just bring some awareness, I'm definitely going to do it.
yeah. You have to share
And
the name
I
later
do a
on,
lot of like
Mitch.
tarot magic. Tarot magic, I think, is where you need to go into, Lucy. That's the key. The tarot
Tarot
magic.
magic. What is
That's what I
that?
do. So it's a mix of like like a blend between candle magic with tarot cards. So
Okay.
when you're sort of doing your
Ah.
intention or your spell work, I do like a clockwise motion of like where I'm currently at, the situation,
So
and
do
where
you
I
pick
want
your
to
own
be.
tarot cards or do you do
Yep. So
what
I'll
comes
pick
from spirit?
I'll pick the ones that I want. So
Yeah.
there's usually a lot of like Ten of Pentacles and everything else, like
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that
and
makes
then
sense. That's what you'd
yeah, and
want.
then
Yeah.
you light the candle in the middle, and then you just meditate with that intention. And I meditate with those theatres or those spaces wherever I'm working, literally being sold out, and you just give yourself permission to receive. But once it's done, you don't question it, so you don't think afterwards, "Oh, has that worked?" Because instantly you'll put a block on it. You just trust that's been heard.
Very cool. Because I know a lot of the listeners too have wanted to know a little bit about spells and
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
And a lot of it is mind over matter. Any spell is just giving self permission to receive the experience.
Mm.
See, I have a hard time
Mm.
cutting my brain off at the end, going just
Are you
leaving
allowed?
it
Yeah.
and allowing it because my brain goes, come on, I want to see result. Come on. Or, did I do it well enough? did I have the intention enough? All this kind of stuff. That's what my
Mm.
brain ends up doing. And I have to, because I believe spells and witchcraft can actually help heal us by doing them. Like the rituals and stuff like that are very
Yeah, definitely.
healing for
Oh yeah,
mental
yeah, yeah,
health,
yeah,
emotional health. Does that
yeah,
make
yeah.
sense? So like I can counsel someone all I want, but we've gone on to a total different subject, but that's cool. But
That's all right. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. I've taught them the hoodoo method of cord cutting that I like to do, that
Mm.
I find
Mm.
works, but it doesn't cause me to feel guilty about doing it either. So I do it where I write the person's name down 5 times on a piece of paper, right, to fill up the whole piece of paper. I turn it, if I'm wanting to break the energy, I turn it away from me, so to the left, and then I write what I'm wanting to cut or freeze. Does that make sense with them? And then I turn it again, and then I write down, like, basically I release them with love, and I put the intention of love there, because I'm not just doing it for me, I'm also doing it for them. Because if
Mm.
the energy's bad on my side, it's going to be bad on their side too. Does that make sense? It's not gonna,
Exactly.
or it's going to
Hmm.
turn bad. And then I turn it again, and I date and sign my name like I'm signing a check. Then I fold it away from me, turning it away. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
I burn it or freeze it. And I've done it on quite a few people, and some of them have totally disappeared, but some of them I have to have in my life, but I just don't want that energy exchange that's been going on,
Mm.
where the energy exchange has become less and less, or a lot more at ease. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Where it's like not the flare-ups like before. They're
Mm.
not nitpicking at me, or do you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing, where it's just really
Mm.
been. And so I've been doing that with clients because I believe it works, but it also in them allows them to have that power of going, yeah, I want to do this, instead of just talking it out, or, we're actually putting pen to
Mm.
paper and going,
Mm.
let's do a little ritual here. And I say, do it as many times as you need to. And you don't have to be perfect at it. And I tell them you can flush it down the toilet, you can freeze it, you can burn it, whatever. And that's the
Mm.
beauty of it, is whatever feels right inside of you. It gives you the freedom that you don't have to follow strict rules, but you get it out of you, if that makes
Yeah,
Mm.
sense.
there's a few clients. I need to do that. Did you say like doing it with clients or doing it at clients? I wasn't
No,
sure that.
with. So actually about 3 of my clients in the last couple of weeks, I have done that with them to
With
help,
them.
where they've struggled with someone in their life. Does that make sense? And
That's
they're
cool.
really struggling, or it's someone in the past that their voice is very loud in their head. We write it down and release it straight to
Mm.
break the energy bonds with that.
That's cool. There's
Yeah.
a few I need to actually do it on, I think, some clients. I need to just go. And I
No,
think it's
I'm
that.
very lucky. I love all my clients right now.
Oh,
I'm
you are
very,
very
very
lucky.
lucky. Yeah.
You are very, very lucky. But I love most of mine. But there are some people that just come with higher than average expectations, and they
hmm
come down with
hmm
the bump when you keep it real and you say, no, that's not going to be what's going to happen here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people are so not expecting that as well. And it's like, if that makes me a bad reader because I'm ethical or I'm keeping it real, tough. But, the thing I hate with clients is when we have gone off subject here, is when you get someone say, you've been highly recommended. Because I think, oh my God, straight away there's an expectation. And straight away they're expecting to have the experience their friend had, when
Yeah.
it's a completely different connection. It's a completely different contract with spirit. I cannot guarantee what's going to happen. I'll aim
Yeah.
for the best every time, but we might not get that.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's kind of like that in counseling too,
Mm.
where this person, I think I talked to you about this the other day, Mitch, where the person is sitting in front of you and you feel the feeling like, heal me.
Yeah. Is
I
that
want to
take,
come
take,
out of
take,
this one
isn't it?
hour, yeah, this 1 hour session, and I want to feel a lot better. And it doesn't work that way at all. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way at
exactly.
Mm.
all. It could happen by some miracle, but the reality is that healing is picking apart, because I'm not in their
Mm.
soul. I'm not in their psyche. I'm not in their being.
Mm.
So I have to read a lot between the lines, and I have to, like, listen to spirit and what they're saying to me while the person's talking. And usually it's been quite, we're on par for the chorus, but it is not an overnight thing. Sometimes it is.
It is very much like holding up a mirror and saying, "This is what we're dealing with. You've
Yeah.
got to own it," sort of thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
any healing process takes time, doesn't it? It's like cutting your finger. So if you broke down to these, to clients, what you're doing, you're not going to have an instant heal. If you broke down to them and said, well, if you cut your finger with a knife, it doesn't it doesn't heal straight away. First of all, it knits underneath, so it'll heal from the inside out. So the fibers and the tissue it will stop bleeding. Then it will start knitting together underneath. Then you'll get a scab on the top. Then as it starts healing from the inside out, you will then have the scab will finally come off and you'll be healed. But it's not going to happen in a 2-hour session or 6-week session. It's not going to happen, is it? It's going to take time. Every scab takes time to heal up and peel off, and it depends on how deep your wounds are.
yeah,
it
depends on like if it's a machete cut or that kind of thing, or a paper cut. Like people have different wounds.
Cut with a veg knife. Yeah, it just depends, isn't it? And that's going to take time to heal the tissues, soft tissues, and all the nerves and everything else is going to take a while to heal. And that's exactly the same with mental health, with psychological health. And I think anybody coming in I think what it is, I think when people we are really going off subject. I think when people get to the point that they have gone, I'm really sick, I need help. I think it then gets to a point where you get, not desperate sounds the wrong word, but you want to heal quickly. Do you know what I mean? You've been probably ill for some time and you now really want to heal quicker than is need be. You do get some people that don't want to put the work in or can't put the work in because they need something else to be healed first. There'll be something else there a bit deeper that they're possibly not, they might have come to you, Lucy, and gone, I've got a paper cut, when actually they've chopped half their finger off with a bean can. So they're not being true, saying how deep the wound is.
Well, we see that with readings loads of times as well. I get that in readings all the time, and it's like, oh, okay. It's interesting. I like this terminology. I'm going to nick this.
What the
you're always welcome to nick different types of paper
that's what I say to clients. Like
bean can
I say, trauma's like a knife wound, like a being stabbed. I said, and being stabbed, you don't just heal the top. It is, like you said, the intricacies. So some people go, well, I've gone over this and I'm not getting over it. And I'm like, you are. It's like a spiral, is that you've just have another layer now that needs to be healed. I have gone through, I've had trauma, a lot of trauma in my life. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people with their trauma and helping calm their nervous systems down, because most of my life has been some trauma within 2 years of each other, kind of I never got to breathe, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. And when anyway, I feel, I don't think I'll ever be 100% healed. I don't think so, with the amount of my life that had hardness. Does that make sense? But I have radical acceptance too of what
you'll learn to deal with it better.
Yeah.
And you'll understand your little triggers and you'll counter-react the trigger mechanism, so you don't react like you would have done before.
A couple of weeks ago, and Mitch knows about, I'm going to get into the trigger, but I got triggered bad and it shocked the shit out of me, because I hadn't been triggered in a very long time in this certain area, right? But I'll tell you one thing, I bounced back a hell of a lot faster than I would have 10 years ago.
Which is really healthy, and that shows the progress.
That showed me the progress. My counselor said, and I took it, when she said it, I knew what she meant. She wasn't being derogatory to me, but she said, some people have a cut on the knee or fallen and skinned themselves in life. Your legs were chopped off. And so you've had to learn like a whole new way of being from scratch. And I do look at it like that, like my nervous system. I never knew what a calm nervous system felt like. I never knew what peace even felt like in my body, or relaxation in my body, until probably 8 years ago.
Speaking of peace, Speaking
Do you have
of
to go pee-pee?
peas,
Do you have to
yeah,
go pee-pee?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to pause it.
My herbal tea.
Yeah, here. I can smell that mint tea from here, Mitch.
You
It's
don't have to pause, you
it
don't have
is
to pause it.
after working hours. Yes,
I
you can
can
go
just
pee-pee.
like nip out. If not, I can just
You
nip
can
out.
no, you can leak the lizard, drain the dragon, whatever you need to do. We'll
Yeah.
push pause and come right back.
Okay, just pause it a sec. I'll be a
I will
sec.
pause it. Well, that was about a half an hour that he was in the toilet, and we're back now.
He went to
Sorry, guys, I
McDonald's.
needed a little.
He went and got
tinkle.
pizza. Went to the pub, got beer, and we sat here thinking. 40 minutes later, and me and Lucy were like, "Hang on, I think he's taking
Don't
the piss
talk
now."
about pizza. Pizza is putting an idea into my head.
What was it? Yeah. Oh, about like chopping the legs off. We were talking about healing, right? And
Yeah.
then and then we got so rudely disrupted, but at least yeah, anyway. Yeah, what a lot of clients I find, and I'm talking to, people out here that are listening, is that they're expecting healing to be like it never happened or it doesn't bother you again, and that's not really what healing that can happen, I guess, depending on the trauma and stuff like
It's learning
that.
to live with it, isn't it?
It's learning to really live with it and radically accept it inside of you. Does that make sense? And do all the grieving and the whatever that needs to come out, because it's different for each person,
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think every day is a school day. We jokingly use that term. I know I jokingly use that term quite a lot. Every day is a school day, but every day is a school day. If you think how much, we're talking about friends and how we go from having that needing to have that friend group to see that we're trendy and feel that we're liked and we're wanted and we're loved. And then you go through that growth process of then growing and becoming yourself and then have a selective number of friends, or just hide and tell them all to fuck off if you're Mitch. Don't like people.
No, I do have some good friends. I am blessed. I've got I've got about
I know you.
10 good friends, I would say. And then the rest are
but I think that's every day is a school day. Every day is healing. And I think when we're younger, I think the friends that or the people, use a better terminology, I think the people that we attract, because they always say, you attract a certain type of person when you're putting out a certain energy. I think when you're younger, the type of people we attract are, sometimes I think they're a reflection of who, the bits that need healing in ourselves. I think sometimes, when I look back and think,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
When I look back on some of the I'm going to call them acquaintances. When I look back on some of the acquaintances I've had in my younger years, they're my ultimate fear of what I would not want to be. When I look back now, I think, oh God, and at the time when I was friends with them, I could put up with all the drama and all the cackling and all the bitchiness and all this. Oh my God, you should have seen her down the road. I'm shamefully going to say I was with all that. I wasn't bitching about
think we
people,
all
but
have.
I was listening to that. I was wrapped up.
I have no problem admitting that.
But I was wrapped up in all that.
I think if you haven't bitched about someone, you're lying.
Exactly. But it's how you do it. There's a way of bitching, but it not going any further. And it's when you're purposely hurting someone, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say I
so there's having a whinge
but I'm not
about
purposely
somebody
hurting, because I'm the verbal diarrhea person, right? I have to get it out of my system. So that's why it's important for me to have safe people to do that with, and so Colin's a safe person for me, Mitch is a safe person for me, but I'm not doing it necessarily. Well, maybe there's anger or something at the time, but two, they help me. Does that make sense? They help me. Sometimes I'm in the wrong and my perspective needs to be changed. Mitch just changed my perspective, or said, just keep an open mind. I know the person. Does that make sense? And they've never shown a side to me that you're suggesting they may have. And so keep an open mind. And, it does put me back into, okay, maybe I am going from a place of like
that's
wounding here.
opening
Yeah.
your thought pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's taking the blinkers off and opening your vision
And
of
Colin
that
will say,
person
I
and
didn't see
seeing it.
that in that person. He'll say that, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, did you feel that? And he's like, no, and like, I trust Mitch's
But
perspective more
again,
than
that's
Colin's
yeah.
when it comes to people.
Oh, so I don't always
But
get it
that's a
right. I don't
healing
always get it
process.
right, but usually I have some awareness. Usually.
Yeah. But that's a healing process as well, isn't it? That's being self-teaching yourself that maybe you have to look past what that person is putting up to start with, that bravado that that person is putting up,
Yeah.
which is what you initially go at, and
Yeah.
and
What does
it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
What
go for it,
pisses me
Mitch.
off though, no, I was going to say what pisses me off though is when you invest so much into a person and maybe quite a few people around you have been saying no, be careful, whatever, and you're like, no, this person's kosher, and then they let you down, and then I find I get quite disappointed with myself because I think, fuck, I've dropped the ball there. Everyone was telling
I'm the
me this
same.
person's, dodgy or this or
Mm,
that, but I just wanted to see that little bit of light, and they've let me
because I
down.
think we all just, yeah, I think we all just like not always give benefit the people of the doubt, give people the benefit of the doubt. I think we like to see life through rose-tinted glasses a little bit, and we like to go, oh, they're not that bad, or
Well, maybe just the
there's some
healer in
good
us
in them
sees
someone.
the light within that
Yeah,
trauma. Maybe I don't know. It does piss
yeah.
me off though, because there have been a few times when people have really shat on me from a big height, and I think and people had pre-warned me, and it's like, I really wanted to sort of see beyond that, but actually
Mm.
no, this is the
Mm,
reality. Maybe that's what it is, just
mm,
having a preconceived idea of what you would like that person to be as opposed to where their actual vibration is. I don't know. It's interesting, but it's frustrating. So this is why for
yeah.
me, friends is quite a dodgy area because a lot of people have let me down or they have thrown me under the bus or they've started off being great and then they've not been able to sort of be at that kind of frequency forever. So it's kind of like it's become confusing. So
Mm.
yeah, this
I
is
think those people are ones you're just meant to step away from. There'll be a split. I always say, well, I know it sounds really cliche, and there are things in the world that we can't put a reason to, but I always say that some things are meant to happen for a reason.
mm,
And sometimes those people that you have um, tried to, you've seen that there is something there, but they obviously aren't at a stage yet where they can embrace that and use it. They're still sort of stuck on their muggly path or they're still stuck on their bit. Um,
I find it
and
interesting. It is interesting.
yeah, it is interesting. And it is, I think, I mean, the thing is, I think you've got to realize not to be so hard on yourself and be disappointed in yourself
Mm,
because you're always going to see people who you think are worth investing in, you're going to invest in them.
Mm.
Um, and if you get the odd one that turns around and doesn't it doesn't reciprocate the vibes that you're giving or not on the same page, and they step away, it's them that aren't ready to move forward or carry on engaging. And you mustn't be disappointed in yourself because that's part of you and part of your makeup. And that's part
mm.
of what you do. I know you get frustrated. You probably more frustration. Oh, I've done it again.
I
Why
just
do I
find it
not learn the
confusing, and
first
I just
time?
think a bit like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And then that's just
that-
them, isn't it? It's not you.
yeah,
I
it's like
have
there's
a hard
something that,
time with that's just them in my life, though. When I've
yeah,
been shitted on by friends where and deep down inside, I look back and I go, I felt stuff. Does that make sense? I felt
yeah.
Mm,
my nervous system
mm.
wasn't totally relaxed. Does that make sense? I was putting on
You
kind
try
of
to
a,
adjust to it, sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah, just through it. And then they've pooped on me, and then what ends up happening is I could blame myself, but I also have this tendency to go, what about me? What is it about me that they would just disrespect me like that? Or
Mm.
feel that they could disrespect me like that? And that's where my questions lie that haven't been
Mm.
fully healed in my life. You know, I can stand in the power of they shouldn't have disrespected me and I don't deserve that disrespect. But then there's this underlining, like, what is my energy that I'm giving off that they think they could just
Mm.
Could get
disrespect
away
me
with
like
doing
that?
that. Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
the problem
'Cause I've had
isn't
some
with you,
pretty
the problem
shitty,
is with them.
yeah, but I've had some pretty shitty things over, you know, so that's why my
Mm.
friendships, um, I don't trust right at the beginning, and especially if they're love
Mm.
bombing. We've talked about love bombing, all right. I think we just talked about it, but we didn't put that podcast out. It was the last one. But love bombing, which happens where the person is like a magnet on you. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And that you're just the greatest and you're just this and oh my God, you're so funny. You know, and they try to make you feel like they're just
Mm.
pumping helium into you to make you feel so good. Those usually do not last very long. And I've seen that
Mm.
where people get together so quickly, especially in spiritual, and they all of a sudden start working together or doing stuff together. Does that make sense? And it just
Mm.
Mm.
It just
falls
collapses,
apart.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 Mm.
I've had that
Jealousy
quite a few
gets in the
times
way. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
people have tried to sort of love bomb me, and then I've been aware of it, so I've been like, I'm not really feeling this sort of thing. You
Yeah.
know, but we'll go through
Mm.
the motions. And I think that's what I also like with our connection. I mean, like Carly jokes about like the fangirling and everything, but I think we've all always had that respect for each other. I don't think we have ever
I
like
think
been
it
talking
is, yeah,
weird.
no, it was admiration. I mean, I joke about the fangirling, but it's admiration for what you do and the respect for what you do.
Oh,
I mean,
Carly, if
you
you
know,
hurt Mitch, I
yeah.
think you would be absolutely fucking devastated if you hurt
Oh, I'd
Mitch.
never do it. I would never
Yeah.
do it to anybody. You know,
Yeah, on purpose or
I
anything out and out.
no,
Because I could just see you being absolutely gutted that you would have
yeah.
disappointed in
Well,
me.
look, we're
Does that
still
make
bringing
sense? Yeah.
CDs up, don't we?
Um,
Even though you can't remember them.
Oh, that cracks me up every time
Uh,
you mention that. Yeah, because for me it was
poor
just like
Jazz.
nothing. But for her it was a huge thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I don't know if Lucy. Did you hear the story of the
What did
CDs?
you knocked them over on his display or something?
No. He gave. We've done the Saxon Hall, didn't we, Mitch? And you said I said to you, you could put some CDs and stuff on the bardware table if you didn't have enough room on your table. So you handed them to Jazz, and she then unfortunately dropped them on the floor, and she was absolutely devastated because I think some came out of sleeves, and she was like, she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," because obviously it's stuff that done. It's Mitch's goods and product, and then I remember Mitch going away, and he was like, "Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. Just pick her up." And Jazz, she's never forgotten it, and but she was like, "Oh my God, I dropped Mitch's CDs.
No,
Oh my
he
God, I
sent
dropped
Jazz
all
a bill
the
afterwards.
stuff."
What
I
I
know.
should have said, buy me a Domino's and we'll call it quits. That's what I should have
She
done.
would have done. She would have been in that car and damn Domino's.
No, but that's the thing. That's just life, isn't it? It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
It
it
just.
is. It
Why would
is.
you be
It
angry with
is.
someone for that? It's just a thing that happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was. I think it was it's the respect for you and obviously your stuff, your product, your merchandise that you were selling. You know, I mean, I think if you dropped anybody's stuff on the floor, I mean, it's when you work so hard to produce something, and then people literally had it. Oh, I never forget her face. She's never forgotten it. She still
Oh,
remembers
bless
it
her.
to this day.
Yeah, I just like it's no harm done. No one's got hurt, have they? So like, what's it matter?
No, no, it was a few CDs, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always to say we joke about the fangirling, but it's the respect and the admiration for what you do and what you bring to people to see you work and those messages that come through. Well, both of you to watch, people work and um see how people heal. When they walk away from you, sit and have a reading. It's just something, isn't it? That so the respect and admiration. Again, like Lucy said, if you worked in Tesco's, Woolworths, or Yama's Kebabs on the corner, you as a person, you would still bring that to your job.
I could
But
see him at
Yama's
the kebab
Kebabs.
shop.
I just had like visions of me and
I
Lucy in
just
like a
saw
burger band together.
I saw him in the kebab shop, and I just totally I don't know why.
Oh,
That's
dear.
you didn't expect that, did you? You didn't expect the
Because
Yamas
my mind is
kebabs.
very visual, so I saw him in Tesco's for a second. I saw a little blip of him
Yeah.
in McDonald's or Woolworths, and then it was like Yama's kebabs, and I was just like him cutting the kebab meat. You'd be fucking swearing, you would be, Mitch. Like, try to, those big kebabs that they have, and they're like they're turning, and they're
Yeah.
like.
I don't know, because I have worked on the deli counter before, so I
Oh,
actually
did you?
slice
Yeah.
all the ham and like cut all the cheese, and you get like a massive rock of parmesan, and like the wire would just snap on you, basically.
Did you like doing the deli?
I liked being able to nick the little freebies. So like when you like cut the ham, a little bit for me, like cut
Yeah.
I'd be eating all the fat off the ham. I love ham fat.
Or you
That
put
little
like
bit
all
at
like
the end that you can't get through the slicer.
Yeah.
That bit
yeah,
that you
the big
hold on to
noggin
that
at the
won't go
end
through the
sort of
slicer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Or you'd put out the like sort of sausage rolls and the savoury eggs. Oh, that one's fallen. I'll have that one. Me. Oh, I was terrible.
Which one did you work at a private deli, or did you work for like a big superstore?
No,
or
it's not
supermarket?
there anymore. It used to be a place in Westbury called Cooper's Supermarket. It's now Morrison's, but it was like
Oh,
a
okay.
family run business, and yeah,
Oh,
it's quite cool.
yeah.
Yeah, those were the days, back in the days when it was a simpler time. But no, I used to have quite a lot of fun there, actually.
Yeah. I just saw you cutting kebabs.
Yeah, I know. I was on the
Good
deli
kebab.
counter.
Sweating, really
Then I
hot,
went into
sweaty.
Then I went into the bakery. That was fun because I used to like the bakery shift because it would be like 6 in the morning to like
I was
3
going to
o'clock.
say
So it was like
early. Yeah.
you'd be like a half day in it really, and you'd
Yeah.
be like cooking all the croissants, cheese baps. Oh, used to take a load
Well,
of good
that
stuff there.
smell. Whoa.
Donuts.
I love the smell of fresh bread. It's amazing. You'd just be hungry all the time, wouldn't you?
It was
really
fun.
fat.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's like you don't always think it's good in the moment, but looking back now, I think it's probably for my muggle jobs, one of the most probably one of the most fun jobs I actually had looking back now. But you don't think of it at the time, do you? You think,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
No.
hard grind and bullshit. But actually, you used to get paid cash weekly, and I was like, oh, I don't have that anymore. But like, yeah, it was a good time. It was cool. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
It makes a
think we're on the
difference from
witching
doing
hour.
Yamas kebabs. Are we?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
Yamas
We've got like way off here. We just gone into like
We'll just have to call this a random
a random
Random.
chatty chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
we random shit, literally. But I mean, we have sort of kept on the friend side of things. We've circled back round to it. So we've gone from doing friends to
But it's
talking about
interesting you say
spells.
about the friends thing as well, because with my time there, one of my friends who I don't see her very often, but we just will talk periodically. But I know if I needed her in an emergency, she's there. We used
I've
to
got
work
friends
together.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we used to work in the bakery together. We used to call ourselves like the bakery bitches. Like, but I know if I needed her in an emergency, she'd be there. She would be there in a flash, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
quite
I got
nice
friends
to
like
have.
that.
Yeah, it's quite nice to have those friends where you don't need to talk to them all the time, but you know they're still there in the background, you know, and that energy is still pure. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Shout out to my friends Amy and Carrie back home in Canada. I could go Carrie, I could go ages, years, a couple of years sometimes, not talking. But we get together and we'll be like, let's have a phone date, and it's 12 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And it's not a lull in the conversation. Does that make sense? It's like nothing has.
You just pick up from where you left off. Yeah, and that's cool, isn't it? I think that's really special when you have those.
And I know for her, if she were to call me and say my life is falling apart or whatever, I'd be there for, in whatever capacity I could be. And I know the same with her. I know it, and same with Amy. Yeah, I know it with my friend Amy, who's been my good friend since I was 14, and so.
Oh, wow.
Saw me through all the shit of my jaw surgery to my Christian days and all that. And she gets me, and I get her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but
nice. We go long periods of time without talking, but we know we love each other deeply. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's really nice if you've got friends. There's a couple, they're now married. I've known them quite some time. And we used to go on holiday with the kids. And we used to do the sun holiday, you pay 20p and
what? Yeah.
they're really good fun. Really
Are
good
they,
fun.
or are they just
So
a big, like,
Oh
bad
no, they're
kids
brilliant.
fest? Okay.
No, really, really good. So there was me and my ex-partner and my two kids, and then two friends. They weren't married at the time, and but they were together.
Yeah.
And they had no kids, and we used to go like Devon, Cornwall, the old sort of Haven holiday sites, Rory the Tiger, and and it was always sort of out of season. But obviously got kids in nursery or playgroup, it's not so bad. We all used to go and stay in a caravan together and go off, and we just, yeah, great fun. Absolutely great fun. I mean, there was there was an incident where my son was 3 years old, and those big industrial wheelie bins.
Yeah.
My poor son is now 28 years old, and he has not been allowed to forget this. They were playing outside the caravan. Me and my friend was stood inside the caravan chatting. I think we were starting to cook dinner, so the dads were outside. The two boys, bigger boys, my ex-partner and her partner were outside. And Johnny had this foam rocket that you stand on the pump and it blows up, blows off. And it had landed on top of this wheelie bin. And in his infinite wisdom, had climbed up the steps of this wheelie bin bay, jumped on top of the wheelie bin, but had ironically pushed it out of the bay. I've forgotten where we say, Devon Cliffs, I think it was. I looked out the caravan window. Johnny was he was just going down the road on a wheelie bin all to get this, and he's never been allowed to forget it. But it's just things like that, you never forget of going on holiday. But I know if I rang them up tomorrow and said I'm really stuck, they would come and help me. They're doing they're local to here, and they run a community bar, like a workman's club, and they're running the bar for my son-in-law's 30th birthday, which is great because it means then I get to spend the whole evening chatting to them, and we're just like, me and Sharon used to smoke, and one was called Chimney and one was called Stack, and it doesn't change whenever we see each other. We just sit there chatting like we'd literally been on holiday yesterday.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That's
fantastic.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Well, shall we
Nice
call
people.
it a?
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
A night.
I'm glad we did a redo of this one now.
Sorry?
I'm glad we did a redo of this one now.
Yeah. I am too. Because my pooing was caught in the last one. Anyway, we're still recording. I'm sorry. I thought I just for a split second there, I thought we were done recording.
Still had to pause.
Which was stop. Yeah.
We still had to pause because somebody needed a wee. So I mean.
Oh, sorry about that.
Wees are much better than what I was going through last time. So
Exactly. Oh.
All right. Well, lots of love and light from Lucy here.
Take care, guys. Until next time. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye for. Oh, I'm the one that has to push stop. Bye.